It all began in Bangkok, in the heart of bustling Khao San Road. The neon lights flickered off the street vendors' stalls, the smell of grilled skewers filled the air, and a wave of music from nearby clubs reverberated through the night. That's when I saw her, Sai, a petite girl with a radiant smile, sipping on a coconut drink. Our eyes met, and there was an instant connection. She was a local, but her English was flawless. I had been in Thailand for just 2 weeks, exploring the city and adjusting to its chaotic beauty. Sai and I started chatting casually, the kind of conversation that feels easy, like slipping into something familiar. Her playful laugh and warm personality were infectious, and before I knew it, I was hooked. We spent the entire evening talking, hopping from bar to bar, until the sun began to rise over the Chao Phraya River. We exchanged numbers, and just like that, a whirlwind romance began. The next few weeks felt like a dream. We explored Bangkok together, visiting temples like Wat Pho and Wat Arun, taking boat rides along the canals, and indulging in the most delicious street food. Sai was my guide, taking me to hidden gems and introducing me to the real Thailand, the parts that tourists often miss. One of my favorite memories was a weekend trip to Ayutthaya. We rented a scooter and rode through the ancient ruins, hand in hand. Sai would point out temples, telling me stories about Thai history with a mix of pride and humor. We shared laughs over how I couldn't properly pronounce any of the temple names and even got caught in a torrential downpour that left us drenched but laughing under the shelter of an old tree. Everything seemed perfect. I was falling for her, fast. And it felt like she was falling for me too. But then, as it often happens in new relationships, small cracks began to show. The first sign was a simple misunderstanding. We were at a night market in Chiang Mai, where I had planned a surprise trip for us. Sai wanted to buy a trinket from one of the vendors, and while I was trying to negotiate the price, she got upset. In Thai culture, especially when buying from locals, bargaining isn't just about money, it's about respect. I had unknowingly offended the vendor by being too persistent. Sai, feeling embarrassed, walked off without a word. I caught up to her, confused and frustrated, trying to explain myself. But she stayed quiet for the rest of the night. It was my first glimpse into the complexities of cross-cultural dating. We decided to escape the tension with a trip to Koh Samui, a tropical paradise where crystal-clear waters and white sand beaches awaited. The first few days were magical again. We rented a bungalow on Lamai Beach, swam in the ocean every morning, and enjoyed the laid-back island vibes. At night, we explored the vibrant nightlife scene, sipping cocktails at beach bars and dancing under the stars. One afternoon, we took a boat trip to Ang Thong National Marine Park. It was breathtaking. The limestone cliffs, hidden lagoons, and emerald green waters felt otherworldly. We kayaked through caves and snorkeled alongside schools of colorful fish. But during the hike to the viewpoint, something shifted. I noticed Sai was becoming distant. She would wander ahead of me, taking photos and not engaging in our usual playful banter. When we reached the top of the viewpoint, overlooking the entire park, I asked her what was wrong. After a long pause, she finally spoke. "You're leaving soon, aren't you?" The truth was, I had a flight back home in a few weeks. I hadn't thought much about what would happen next for us, caught up in the excitement of being with her. But for Sai, the reality of the situation hit harder. She had grown attached, and I hadn't considered what our relationship would look like once I was gone. After that conversation, things became more strained. We returned to the mainland, and I could sense the tension building. Sai would often cancel plans last minute or seem distant when we were together. I tried to talk to her about it, but the conversations always ended in silence or vague answers. One night, during dinner at a small restaurant in Chiang Rai, everything came to a head. We were talking about our pasts when she suddenly asked, "Why didn't you tell me you were planning to leave?" I stumbled through my explanation, saying I thought we were just having fun and that I didn't want to ruin the present by worrying about the future. But Sai didn't see it that way. For her, our relationship was more than just a vacation fling. She had started to envision a future, even if I hadn't. That night, she walked out of the restaurant and didn't return my calls. The next day, we had a tearful conversation. Sai admitted that she cared deeply for me, but she couldn't continue the relationship knowing that it was temporary. We both agreed to end things, but it didn't make it any easier. The last few days we spent together were bittersweet, quiet walks along the beach, shared meals without words, and long hugs that felt like they might never end. Our final goodbye was at the airport. Sai came to see me off, and as we embraced one last time, I could feel the weight of everything we'd shared over the past 3 months. It was intense, beautiful, and heartbreaking all at once. Looking back, I realized that our relationship was a mix of adventure and misadventure, of discovery and miscommunication. Thailand had given me memories I'd never forget, but it had also taught me a valuable lesson about relationships. Cultural differences are real, and they can shape how we experience love and connection. But more than that, I learned that the temporary nature of travel romances doesn't diminish their significance. Sai and I had 3 months together, and while it ended sooner than I had hoped, those months were filled with experiences that changed me forever. As my plane soared over the city lights of Bangkok one last time, I couldn't help but smile, grateful for the adventure.